Do you feel like sometimes you're too nice and people take advantage of you? Well, when I was going through my journey of my inner healing, that was a huge one for me. Like, I was told my whole life I was too nice. And I like being nice. And so that was a big struggle for me because I like being nice, although I didn't like being taken advantage of, which did happen to me. And so when I was doing my work and really healing myself and working on not boundaries and different things like that, and standing, having my self-worth, standing up for myself and all that stuff, one of the biggest things I came up against was the being too nice. And I cried. Like, I remember one day, because I knew that I had to stop being so nice. But for me, it was more of a, I don't know how not to be nice. How can I not be nice? I have to be rude now. Like, in my head, I couldn't quite comprehend how to do it. Might sound crazy for you if you're not that way, but if you are, because as females, we're always doing stuff for everybody else and not taking care of ourselves, not putting up our boundaries, being, oh, we're nice. We don't want to be selfish. We got to be nice. And so you might have that. And you may be struggling with that right now. And like, how do I balance being nice, because I do like being nice, versus letting people take advantage of me, having my boundaries, like all the stuff that goes along with it. Okay. And it takes some work. It takes some work to get through this, because I remember times when I had people take advantage of me, and I used to get like really upset, but I did not know how to stick up for myself and say something. And I didn't understand how people could even do that. Well, obviously, people, it's a weird thing. I think people that maybe wouldn't even normally do it because people, they don't stand up for themselves. I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. I feel like it's just a human behavior thing that people can get, without even realizing it, getting wrapped up in. So anyway, I'm apologizing for them. So for me, I was that way because I didn't have those boundaries as a kid. I never learned boundaries as a kid. So, if you have a past where you were taken advantage of as a kid, abused or anything like that, you did not learn what a boundary was. So it's not your fault that you didn't learn it. It's how you were raised. You were raised that people took advantage of you and you knew no difference. It's like you're imprinted. This is your imprint. What happens to you when you're little, like 0 to 7 is huge. Those are your big years of what gets imprinted into you. If you've been imprinted that people take advantage of you and you've got to give in, and you just let people do what they do because you have no control, this runs you as an adult. And you may not even realize it's running you as an adult. It's always in the background running you in your subconscious. As much as you want to maybe think it doesn't, it really does. And so the work to do is really in the subconscious level, the deep stuff. When I say deep, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by deep. Because it's not like you go, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be different. No, you've got to clear and heal, and there's things to do to clear and heal that stuff in the subconscious in order for you to be energetically different in your conscious environment. Okay. So for me, it was being too nice and not having those boundaries. How do you know if you're being too nice? Well, there's lots of ways, but here's one that's pretty typical for women. You feel guilty when you say no. So do you have that one? Do you know what I'm talking about? You feel guilty if you say no. It's a big one. Or you're saying yes when you really want to say no. And you say, oh, sure, I'll do that. And then you go home and grumble about it. Not good, because that affects you. It affects your body. Okay, so, and that's another big one. or not saying something when you know someone's being a jerk to you or taking advantage of you, or maybe in a subtle way, and you kind of know it, and you have this like, you have this inkling, like, that just doesn't feel right. Well, maybe it's just me. Maybe, yeah, maybe I'm being too sensitive. Yeah, I'm probably just being too sensitive. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Because I thought that too. Like, well, maybe I'm just being sensitive, or, kind of explaining away, somebody doing something. Well, deep down in your gut, like, always listen to that gut. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. That's what I'm trying to say. If it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. So listen to that. Listen to your internal guidance. Listen to your gut, because that's so vital and so important, okay? Now, what do you do about it? Okay, so yeah, I do that. I feel guilty. I say yes, all that. Now what? Well, okay, it's steps. Okay, so the first thing is just knowing and trusting yourself. Okay, being aware of it, and saying, yep, that doesn't feel right. That I can see that now. Okay, trust yourself that what you feel is probably correct. Well, it is for you, right? Even if it's not correct or feels right for somebody else, whatever feels right for you is right. Don't ever discount the way you feel, because whatever you feel for you is right. Doesn't mean somebody else has to feel that same way. It just means that you feel that way. And honor that. Honor yourself, okay? And then what you do is you can take baby steps. Like, if you say no to something, if somebody wants you to do something, sorry, I'm thinking two different thoughts. I want to make sure I get something else in, and I'm like thinking it at the same time here. So, okay, somebody says, ask you to do something and you don't want to do it. Here's what you can tell yourself when someone says that. Okay, I'm intermingling them now. Okay. All right. Okay. When you are saying yes to someone else, okay, someone asks you to do something. Here's what I want you to remember. When you're saying yes to someone else, you are saying no to yourself. When you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. Take that in. When you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. So the next time someone asks you and you want to say no, remember that. Because you don't want to walk away grumbling and being upset with them. It's not their fault. It's all on you. This has nothing to do with them. You've got to take that ownership and that responsibility. You're in charge of yourself. So don't be grumbling at anybody else if you didn't do it. You have to look internally. Why did I just do that? Say you didn't. Say you did say yes and you really wanted to say no. And remember, don't be hard on yourself. I'm not saying that, but because this is a process. So, but also own your shit, right? Own your stuff. Don't be upset with somebody else. Not saying to be upset with yourself, but look at yourself and, okay, why did I do that? And then, look at that and figure out why you did that. So the next time you can be stronger. Okay, I did that because of this. Now, why is it I can't say no to someone? Because there's much deeper work to do here, but really looking at that and why is going to be so important for you. Okay, so that way, when someone does talk to you and you say, no, I'm not able to do that, or I don't want to do that, or whatever. As you do that, was the process for me too, is you get stronger and stronger and stronger. So boundaries don't necessarily happen overnight. It takes time, at least it did for me, and putting up boundaries more and more and more and more, and you get stronger. And it's funny, you look back and you're like, oh my God, really? Did I really do that or not do that? Or, oh yeah. So But the good news is I get to still be nice and I have my boundaries, like I figured it out. I thought you had to have one or the other. So when you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. Okay. Now, you can say yes to other people. That's what you want to do. But if it's not right for you, it's okay to say no. You don't have to feel guilty about it. All right. And boundaries, just one step at a time. One step at a time for your boundaries. Okay. Hope that helped for anyone that was feeling a little bit like, having that little angst about how do I, if, not let people take advantage of me, or if you feel like you're being too nice or walked on and stepped on and that kind of thing. So I hope that helped. If you have questions, always you can hit reply on this email or message me, Jodi, Jodi, at peaceofmyheart.net. Okay, PEACE, Jodi at peaceofmyheart.net. Okay, all right. As always, remember, you matter. Okay, peace.